Good evening, everyone. My name is Elizabeth, the Education Coordinator for Marlene's Market in Delhi. Tonight's special guest that we have with us is Lesia Alexander. She is an animal communicator and energy healer of heart and soul with animals. And in honor of National Dog Month and International Cat Day today, of all days, she is speaking on the topic of understanding your animals and celebrate your life together. Thank you so much for being with us this evening.
All right, everybody. Hi, I'm going to go ahead and do the PowerPoint thing. This is the new world we live in, you know, the Zoom world. Okay. Oh, how do I do this now?
You go to slideshow at the top.
Yeah, I'm trying to find it, and for some reason.
You go. You see the home, and then just go over to the right.
I think I need to move my screen so I can see it, and there we go.
Oh.
You know, the top bar was hiding it, and I'm going.
Yes, it does that.
There we go. So, okay. So how many of you, and I do know some of you, but how many of you, I'm going to start with, usually I start with dogs, but I'm going to start with how many of you have dogs? And for some reason, here we go. Hold on. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, for some reason, I'm not showing up in the window. Elizabeth, you are. On the top right.
Oh, well, it looks like on our end that it's popping up.
Okay, great. Okay. So how many of you have cats at home? And Elizabeth, you can put that in the chat and Elizabeth will let me know. And then how many have dogs? Let's take a little inventory. I know we've got 3 folks, so you might have dogs and cats.
Looks like we have a couple of cat owners. And I have cats and dogs. Okay. I have a family dog and then I have my own dog.
Okay, so we've got folks here with dogs and cats. Uh-oh, this is strange. Sorry, guys, technology. And do you ever wonder what your animals are thinking? You know, when they get distressed or they're acting out, you don't know what they need. You're baffled as to what to do. Well, I decode animal behaviors so that you have solutions that work. And my name is Lesia Alexander, founder of Heart and Soul with Animals. And I'm an interspecies communicator and energy healer consultant. And I didn't necessarily just start doing this, right? So it was probably, I just recently thought about it, but it was probably some 40 years or so ago. I was in the foothills of the Himalayas at the mouth of the Ganges River. I had just immersed myself in the frigid, cold glacial water. I walked out, clothes sopping wet, and realized now I was anointed by Mother Ganges, Mother Divine, Mother Earth, Mother Nature. And I think that even now when I say it, I literally feel like I could cry with this devotion that I feel to be in service to Mother Nature, the Earth, all the creatures, including humans. But there were some trials and tribulations before I got to being an interspecies communicator. And I am also an author, and I am now sending out my manuscript to publishers. I just wrote a book, and it talks in there how I got into doing this. So more on that if you're interested. But about 13 years ago, I was sitting in meditation one morning, and that was about 2 years after my beloved soulmate dog Hinsa died, who you see on the screen. And he came to me, and he did that more than once. in the time since he had passed. And he came to me and he said, literally, like, you need to do animal communication. I'm like, animal communication? I don't do animal communication. It's like, I'm not doing that. That's crazy. And he showed me and reminded me, I had studied earth medicine for about 14 years. A big portion of that was animal knowledge, which means that I did, vision quests around animals. I did journeys with animals. I did something called the blend, where we did a ceremony where each one of us sort of dressed up and acted like an animal, with the meditation, this whole thing. And I also even did dances, like a deer dance with animals. So I thought, oh yeah. And then he reminded me of this. When I lived in Denver, I used to go to this bird pet store for years. And there was always this green eclectus bird there, a kind of parrot. And I got to be friends with that parrot. And these very bracelets I'm wearing, he loved going after the bracelets. And then I'd go to zoos and befriend animals and, court them, come visit the same animals over and over and spend a lot of time with them. But most of all, Hinsa reminded me of all the years I had spent living with animals and how much, just the magnitude of those relationships and that what I did. And I thought, okay. So then I explored what animal communication was. And I thought, by golly, I have been doing it. And then I went and I got trained as a healing touch for animals practitioner. So I'm certified in that and, got some training in sound healing. And then he reminded me, hey, you were doing intuitive readings for people. And then you worked with gemstones with people for like close to 30 years. You can apply all that with animals. So I left my teaching career and I put up my shingle, and that's what I do now. I am founder of Heart and Soul with Animals, an interspecies communicator, and animal energy healer. And the areas that I work with are first health and wellness. So I work in conjunction with veterinarians because I'm not trained in that way, but I help people understand what their animals are experiencing. And a lot of times they'll go in and ask for lab work. Instead of getting 5 panels, they go, okay, give me, urinary analysis. And sure enough, their animal has a UTI or something. So it's really helps that way, but also energy work wise, when we're aligned with our energies, we can self-heal, and animals don't have the blockages that humans have, like, oh, is this really real? They just go, oh, thanks. Now I can access all this energy and they can heal themselves. So that's where I help with health. Behavior wise, we look at what are the causes of the inappropriate behaviors. And I provide, energy healing to help align with that, but also tips and strategies for the people to help, meet the unmet needs or take away the things that are the animals being threatened by, maybe do some desensitization, but really guide them towards the desired behavior so there's harmony back, in the home. But my specialty is working with what I call the last chapters, which is the senior, the chronically ill, and we want, to help with quality of life and through the end of life process. And I help both the animals and the people. So if you're interested, if any of this, you feel like you want to go a little deeper, I promise I'll let you know how we can do that. So yay, today is International Cat Day. And when I was working today, my cat was outside the door meowing, and I'm like, oh, I'll get to you when I'm done with this task, which I sometimes don't even register that he's there. I have 2 cats. I admit it, even though I work with animals, I do that. And I keep him out of the office because we're getting another cat, and I'm preparing them to realize that this is not their space, this is my space, so that when the other cat comes, she has her space and they have their space, and we can do that whole thing for a while. In any case, I got done with my task. He wasn't there. Halfway down the stairs, he comes up, we meet halfway. I sat on the steps, he jumped on my lap, and we just loved on each other for a while. And I said, buddy, every day should be International Cat Day. So I hope to live like that. And then, of course, in honor of National Dog Month. And, they do so much for us just in our day-to-day life personally, but also, I just think of all the ways they help in a greater sense, rescue dogs, reader dogs, cats that live with assisted living situations that really help people, as they're in recovery. And then how do we celebrate them and do for them? That's the question. So I'm going to give you 3 tips today. And the third one is going to be an experiential thing that hopefully you can take all these home and use them right away. So the first thing is do the research. understand who they are. I mean, there are so many good books now, so many good educational videos. And one of the things that, that I learned and I'm constantly learning, it amazes me. I think, gosh, this has been my profession for a while, and like, I'm always learning new things of how to work with my animals. Well, one of the things I learned from some of Temple Grandin's books was that, dogs have smaller frontal lobes than we do. Cats have really small frontal lobes, and they are not able to delay their reactions. So one of the stories from Temple Grandin's work is that there was a mother and daughter cat that lived together. They were sitting, looking outside their patio door, and an interloper came in, and the mother got really upset, and she couldn't get out. So she attacked her dog, so it's like, it's not that she wanted to attack her daughter, but she had that reaction and she had to do something with it. And the thing with cats is they do not respond to negative reinforcement. This is what the research says. And they only respond to positive reinforcement if it's done immediately. So that, I believe, that's the kind of research you can do here. What I know for myself in my life and what I believe is that animals, like humans, have souls. And just like our soul can come in and help us do the better thing, I think animals have that capacity too. I've had some animals that were so their souls were so strong that I felt like I was living with another human, like they were able to reason, it felt like. But in a day-to-day sense, we all have our programming, and cats have their genetics and their brain structures that, the thing to do with cats is positive reinforcement right away. So that's just a simple thing like that. You learn that from doing the research. And of course, with dogs, we've got the sniff factor, very, very important. Also, know the breeds, not just the species, but know the breeds. Some breeds absolutely need a lot of activity. And if they don't get it, especially with dogs, if they don't have a job, they're like, some of them are genetically created to do a certain job. If you can't give them that job, like sheepdogs, maybe you don't have a farm where you can teach them how to round up sheep, then give them something else that substitutes for that, so they get that need met. So some of them need a lot of activity, brain stimulation, activity, and others, they need less. So I'll give you an example. I was working with a couple, and their dog was resisting going on walks with one of the people, the guy who mostly, of the two, who gave the dog the walks. And when I worked with the dog, what I discovered was that the dog wanted to sniff and the man wanted to jog. So the dog wasn't getting his needs met, and he started to not like going for walks because they ended up being runs without the sniff factor quota being met. So what we talked about was to do the first part of the walk for the dog, so the dog could just sniff anything he wanted, except, like maybe not roll around in dead stuff, but for all intents and purposes, sniff anything he wanted. And then the second half of the walk was on the person's terms. And then they also had times where like the dog would have a walk for themselves, just for the dog. And then they would have a time when the dog and the guy would just run together. So it's about negotiating and understanding the kinds of needs animals have. And just like some animals really like to do tricks, and that's teaching them tricks. So cats, outdoor cats, it's great. That helps. They get to go outside, they play, they get their natural needs for hunting, even if they hopefully don't catch stuff, that they get their needs met. But what about the animals that are at home, right? So same thing. I was working with a woman. She came to me and she said that she worked from home. This is before the pandemic. She worked from home, and our cat was coming in and really interfering with her work. So she started closing the door, and she loved her cat to be with her when she worked. Well, then the cat started bugging her when she was sleeping. And that's when she realized, I do not want to close the door to my cat when I sleep, because that's such an important part of my life. So when I worked with the cat basically was bored and wanted to play. And this woman, like me, was not somebody who liked to play. I'm a serious kind of person. So I'm laughing at myself, but she didn't like to play. Well, we set up a schedule where I think it was 3 or 4 times a week, she set her timer, same time of day, for 5 minutes. After a few weeks, it was amazing. The cat started to count on that, give her space. And the really good part, like most of the things we do for animals, she started to really enjoy it. And it sort of lightened her up. And so simple things like that make a big difference. So knowing, because it's surprising how people who live with animals for a long time, there's still things that we are like, oh, I didn't know they needed that. So it's worth the investment to do the research. Another thing that animals need is relationships, and I'm not talking about, people's like loving on your animal is really easy. So that's not, animals aren't usually deprived that way. But what about the people who have really busy lives? There was a person who, let's see, they had people to walk their dog. They had people come house sit when they went, because they went away a lot. They were on their phone when they were walking their dogs. They were watching TV. And it's like they would pet the dog, but the dog wanted one-on-one time with just them. It was the same thing. I said, set a schedule, a few times a week, get just like no electronics, go for a walk and connect with your dog. Like take pleasure in their pleasure. Notice them. Let that be something you do together, or sit down and relax, which, when you're really busy, is a hard thing to do, but sit down, relax, and let your dog hang out with you and look into their eyes, or your cat, and love on them and build that relationship. And then finally, of the kinds of things that I've learned that this one they won't necessarily tell you in books, but is animals need calm. And the last talk I did a little guided meditation with a process called practicing presence. So you can go to the Marlene's archives and look that up if you're interested. But I was working with a dog that had some hip issues, and her person wanted me to just kind of do some energy work on the hips. And we usually, the first session we always do is like an information, and we just kind of get a baseline of what's going on. Well, this dog was super happy because her person, one of her people, was an animal behaviorist. So she had good food, exercise, interactive games. She had everything. And then she said to me, I said, is there anything that you'd like to share with us? Anything that's working, that's not working, anything you need? And the dog let me know. She says, I need help in being calm. She said, I have such great people, such a great life, but there's always, I don't know how to calm down, and I need help with that. So that's the other thing, is to realize that animals do need calm, and how to work with them on that. So you're doing all this research, you're doing all this stuff, but we can't do it all ourselves, and we can't figure it out all ourselves, and we can't read every book and every video that we need to know everything. So tip number 2 is get professional help. Yay! Yay for professional help. Veterinarians. I'm referring people to naturopathic and homeopathic veterinarians a lot. Nutritionists, vets that do acupuncture and massage, and all kinds of alternative things. And then trainers and animal behaviorists. And then, of course, the centerpiece is animal communicators and energy healers. And there's a ton of them out. And there's so much support for you to help you understand, well, what do my animals need? How do I support them and celebrate this incredible relationship I have, and this gift that I have that I get to experience every day? So then we come to the question of, well, okay, so I'm reading the books, I'm watching the videos, I'm getting the science and the research, I'm getting the help, but how do I know what my pets really needs? Because I'm the one who lives with them, and I know, really, you know them better than anybody else. But how do I know what they really need and want? Well, that's what we're going to do after we take a little pause. I'm going to actually take you through a little practice. But I wanted to honor the promise I made, that if you're interested in going deeper with this, I'd like to offer what I call discovery sessions. I'm calling them Celebrate Your Life Together Discovery Sessions, which is basically like you'll get a complimentary 30-minute phone consultation where we look at the top issues with your animals and then decide whether I can work with you, whether there's a fit for us to work together. So if you're interested in that, put it in the chat. Just put your name, your email address, and you could just say celebrating together DS or discovery session, and Elizabeth will give me that information. And then within 48 hours, I'll get you the application for that. And then the other thing, I always like to share something with you for showing up for these talks, for the love that you have for your animals, because I really do believe that the relationship we have with animals deepens us and makes us better people, and that makes a better world. So I'm really appreciate that for the world, so to speak. And so I want to thank you for that, and also for supporting Marlene's and supporting me. And what I'll if you're interested, I could send you a tip sheet of what to do when you travel. So what to do when you go away. And it's been really helpful for a lot of people. So if you're interested in that, just say travel tips and your name and email address, and I'll get that to you within 48 hours. So before we do which is going to be a guided meditation about what your animals need, sometimes things don't even occur to us. So I want to go through a comprehensive list that I came up with of the kinds of things, some of them we know about. And so I want to reiterate those, but the kinds of things that animals might need that we don't always think about. So of course, special treats, that's a pretty no-brainer. We all know about that. But what about a new diet? I have had the most amazing experiences with myself and with clients when we've changed a pet's diet. They, not just their health, like their coat improves, their health, but they seem much happier and more vibrant. So that's something to really, really consider. Of course, exercise, especially indoor cats really, really need exercise. That's really important, but all animals need exercise. And again, to look at, are they getting enough exercise? What kind of exercise? So, and then we have things like that are kind of a combination of exercise, but also mental stimulation. Do they need special toys that make them figure things out? Do they need agility type training? Do they need things where they're having to figure things out? Because our animals can be quite smart, and just like us, they can get bored if they don't have enough to do. So it's really important, I think, to think about that. So new toys, new smells, new walks for dogs. Take them for new walks, new games. The other thing is an animal might need, like a dog might need some freedom. Some breeds really need that sense of freedom. So how do you provide that for them? You could, how do you create maybe off-leash walks or places where they could run, or just have some space to be free. So however you can do that, maybe they need that. Maybe that's something worth investing in. And then, of course, how do you show them, overt appreciation? Of course, praising them, positively affirming them every day. And one of the things I'm not going to go into today's talk, but I will often talk about how when we want different behaviors, when an animal is acting out, typically, a lot of cats will be peeing or spraying in the house. What happens, we start getting really frustrated with them, and we say, oh, that's Garnet. He's always peeing on, whatever, on the carpet or on the surfaces or whatever. Well, when you say that, if you think about it, what's the picture that comes to your mind? The cat peeing on wherever. So the way to guide them to the desired behaviors is to positively affirm, oh, that's Garnet. I know he's really working on peeing in the litter box, only peeing in the litter box and outside. And I so appreciate that he's trying to work it out so that we can live cooperatively. Then what you're doing is you're giving him the benefit of the doubt, and you're giving him the imagery of the desired behavior, but positively affirming it to your animals every day, celebrating them is really, really helpful. And some animals really need a lot more of that than others. Another thing we don't think about that an animal might need is consistent routine. So, when people work, that kind of creates that. But even then, things can change let them know what's going on so they know what's going on. But also, like, if you know they have certain needs, like that off-leash walk once a week, or that new walk once a week, or whatever it is, let them, be consistent, because they will hold out. They will not act out a lot of times if they know they're going to get their needs met. um let's see, massage, petting. Some animals actually like acupuncture. um and then the part with the peace and calm, really important, that you can teach them how to be calm and peaceful. And and we don't often think of this, but some animals actually need some alone time. So in very busy households, sometimes, especially I would say cats, just need some space. And it's okay to give them space, because sometimes, like, people come home, where's my cat? And where's my cat? Where's my cat? I mean, I've certainly been guilty of that. But sometimes it's just really good to, like, check in on them, make sure they're okay. But sometimes they just need alone time. And anytime there's any behavior or physical issues, behavior issues, I always say, go to the vet, rule out any physical issues. That's really important to do. So then you can address the next layer. The other thing people underestimate is sometimes animals want you to understand what their jobs are, because sometimes we think they're doing these things and it's annoying, but they consider that that's their job. And if we can find a way to integrate that into our life, it gives them confidence to know that they're doing their job. And if we understand what they're doing, like with cats will monitor energy a lot, and dog and cat families, cats and dogs will work together and help monitor energy. And the dog, they're being the sentry. Hey, interloper, thank you for sharing. Great. We really needed to know that. That's enough for now. But, but okay. But with cats, we forget. So we could say sometimes, thank you for working with the dog and helping keep the energy clean, and keep interlopers out on that energy level, because there are thought forms out there, and they do come in and they do affect us, and we don't want them in the house. So the cats are really, good that way. So having that kind of understanding. And then the last thing I'm going to say, that one of my cats, when I sat down, I asked her, what do you want with me? She showed me that she wants to go on journeys with me. And what that means is that I sit down, like, kind of, quietly, and I sort of open myself up to my imagination, and I imagine her being there with me. And I say, okay, where are we going? And then imagine them going somewhere, and we follow them. And it's amazing what will happen sometimes. And I know it feels like you're making it up. And whether you're making it up or not, I mean, and it's true that your version of what's happening in their version may look different, but they're still taking you somewhere, and you're still sharing something. And it's pretty magical. So those are some of the kinds of things that I feel like we don't think about, that maybe our animals want from us or need from us. So what I want to do next is talk about some of the steps we're going to take to doing the finding out guided meditation. So first thing is to open your heart, and I should say also open your mind, because we just, it's hard to believe that anything that we can't touch is real, but it is. I'm going to just quote research. Research shows that people, like, they did research, I think it was with basketball players who imagined shooting hoops, and ones who actually did it, and ones who didn't do anything. And the ones who imagined and the ones who actually did it, there was very little difference in their success compared to the person who didn't do anything. So that research was done many years ago. So our minds are powerful, and they affect, there's a lot that goes on that we can't see. So trust what comes up, and even though it feels like imagination. And then I would encourage you to take some notes, however you do that, so that you go, oh yeah, that's what my animal wants. And then when we get done here today, either today or tomorrow, the next day, whenever, follow through, experiment giving them what came up in this meditation, and then see what happens. And I would love to hear from you, if you hear your results, if you feel like, oh my gosh, they asked for this, I did this, and they just, like, loved it, and it made a difference. I would love to hear that if you have that experience. So now we're going to move into the meditation part. And so I'm going to ask you to, and I'm going to do that myself, is to get kind of comfortable and just relax. So I'll give everybody a minute. I'll give everybody a minute to just get comfortable and relax. And hopefully your animals are near you, or you know, you can connect with them even if they aren't with you physically. And just take 3 deep breaths, and we can breathe together. And I invite you to close your eyes and listen to the sounds outside of the room. Listen to the sounds inside the room. Listen to the sounds of your own breath. And listen to the sounds of your own heartbeat. And now go to your heart center, in the middle of your chest, that energy center there, and place into that heart center everything that you love. People, places, things, memories, things you love to do, sunrises, dewdrops, flute playing in the mountains, the grass, everything. And allow that love in your heart to become light. And when that light that is love is just spilling over, allow it to saturate your whole being, all the muscles and tissues, the fibers, the cells, all the organs, all the systems, down into your very bones, saturated with light that is love. And then further out into your energy field, saturated with this universal love. And now go take a portion of this light that is love and send it down, down to the core of the earth, and ask Mother Earth if you could anchor in. Feel that like magnetic pull, the grounding, the deep nurture and love that our Mother Earth has for us. And allow that, still staying connected, allow that light to come back up through your heart center and all the way up, 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 up through the crown of your head, and allow it to go to the brightest star in the universe that is your star, that is your place of connecting to your spiritual source. And feel that connection to that star. Just light, sending light all the way down through you. And feel that connection from the brightest star all the way down to the core of the earth and back up. And then allow it to settle into your heart. And in your heart, notice that there's a chamber in your heart and that you find yourself in this room. And notice that your animals are with you. All your animals are with you. And if you have more than one animal there with you, ask one of your animals to be the representative for all the rest of your animal family, the spokesperson and the representative. Allow them to volunteer their service for this journey we're doing today. And when you have that one, and some of you may only have one animal, allow the animal, open the door and allow the animal, and if you have more than one animal, allow the animals to go out and lead you along a path. And notice your feet on this path and how they feel on this path. And notice what's around you. And you're going to go for a little while, and then your animals will take you to a very, very special place, a magical place, a very, very safe place for everyone. And I'm going to give you a moment to arrive to this very special place. And in this special place, allow everybody to just settle in, be comfortable, find a way where everyone's comfortable, that you're there, you're comfortable. Maybe there's a lounge chair, maybe there's grass. Maybe you like to stand, whatever is comfortable for you. And face your animals and tell them how much you love them, how much you appreciate them. Tell them the things that they do that you appreciate, how they help you to feel, how the things they do help you. And then also tell them what you see in them. You see their wisdom. You see some of them are comedians. You see the inner comedian. You see thank you so much for being the incredible comedian that you are. Thank you for being the wise one. Thank you for being the peacemaker. Thank you for being the one that grounds. Thank you for helping me find my way when I'm lost. Thank you so much. And I want to give back to you. You give me so much. And I know that I don't always understand what you need. I don't always know what you want. Please let me know. I'm open right now. Let me know the most important thing that you need and want right now from me that I can do for you. And then open yourself up and just see how to receive this message from them. Maybe you get pictures. Maybe they show you in pictures. Maybe you get a feeling in your body. It's like, oh, you want this kind of food, or do you want this part of your body scratched that I didn't know about? Or maybe maybe there's a table or a picnic blanket that has all of these different things on them. And they go over, they pick one of those up and they put it in your hand and see what it is. And maybe it represents something. Maybe it even has a little note with some writing on it. Maybe you even hear them speaking English to you. It's going to be different for each one of you. So open yourself up to receive what it is that they most want. And for those of you who have multiple animals, ask the representative to come to share something that all of the animals need and want. And you can do this exercise anytime, again, and do it for one at a time for your animals. But for today, let's just let the representative animal share something that you can do for them. And I'll give you a few moments to see, just keep opening yourself up, open your heart, keep letting all your thoughts out of the way, and just open up to their love and see if through that love you can hear their message. So begin to wrap up this time with your animals in a special place. Notice the place again and thank this place for being there for you, and know that you can return. Thank your animals for taking you there, and for everything that they do for you, and allow them, the lead animal, to begin the journey back as you walk along the path. And notice how you feel. Has anything changed inside of you? And then find the door to the chamber in your heart. Once they get there, you will have to open the door. They haven't grown digits yet. Let everybody back into the chamber, close the door, and then everybody can start coming back to the here and now by listening to the sound of your own heartbeat. Listening to the sound of your own breath. And listening to the sounds inside the room. And listening to the sounds outside the room. So does anybody want to share in the chat anything, if there's anything you'd like to share, we'd love to hear what you experienced. How you felt, if you got a message, anything that surprised you. Okay. So what I would like to do, like a little bonus for tonight, is I'd like to see if you would all be kind enough to just list the animals that were with you on the meditation. And then I'm going to talk to I'm going to sort of see if all the animals can come together and with a message for you all. So if you could do that, that would be great. So like if you say to me, say like Barney, dog, let's just say Scotty, 5 years old, something like that. So those three things, maybe their name, their breed, and then how old they are. Okay, there we go. Okay, so, okay, thank you. So we have, I'm going to list, we have Josie, Alasa Opso, 14 years old, Baldwin and Capote, 4-year-old brother, cats, domestic. So Pablo, Chihuahua mix, don't remember exactly. He's 2.5 years old. And then let's see, Ziggy, cat, 15 years old, Ellie dog, 15 years old, May, Japanese bobtail. Okay. Anybody else? Let's see. So 2 cats. Okay. All right, that gives me a sense. All right, let me just kind of connect in. So Ziggy and Ellie, May. Okay. Mhm. Okay. So give me a moment here. So I'll just share with you what I get. It doesn't always make sense when it comes through, and then we'll see what it means. First, I got this surge of appreciation, and then I saw like a pool. It's like a lily pad, but it's like a pool, and there's like the animals are going around it. So and this is from a cat, one of the cats. So I'm asking the cat, what's the message for the people? Okay, I'll stay with this, so bear with me. So now it's like spiraling up. So there's a sense of going up into the stars and um, like the heavens representing spiritual source. And, I was not expecting something esoteric, which I don't always like to go there publicly, but I mean, here we are, and here I am. And this is this time in history. And there we have it. I'm just going to go with it. And they're saying that this is a time in history where the earth is going through a change, and our human behavior has consequences that is causing the end of and destruction, because they're saying like every species, like everything in the universe, they said, has a beginning, middle, and end. Like it has a trajectory there that everything ends. So species evolve and they devolve, but with what humans are doing on the earth, we are causing massive extinction at an unprecedented rate that's much faster than it would, and we're creating destruction for so many species and ourselves. So they're saying that by connecting to animals in the way that you all are, and they're saying that all of you here are connecting with animals in this way, whether you are conscious of it or not, that it is a spiritual path in some ways, that environmental, I don't even want what to call it, but like working for the better of the earth and all the creatures on it, is that that it's also a spiritual path. It's not just recycling and whatever, and legislation and respect of all life. It's also these relationships, and that they are the animals. They're saying, we know right now what's going on, and just in day-to-day life, connecting with us, that we can help you. We can help you be better human beings and better creatures of the earth. Okay, so anything else, you guys? Somebody wants a lollipop, and I don't understand that. So there may mean something to someone, that maybe one of your animals loves lollipops and playing with them, but that's what they came up with. And then just I saw a paw, and we're going to end with the paw. So come on now, here we go. So the last thing I'm going to do, and I think we're almost out of time, but one of the some of the work that I do with animals is sound healing. So I will, find their vital tone and tone that, or play it on a flute, and then do different kind of rhythms with it. I'll do toning. I mean, I have some tuning forks. There's different kinds of things I do. But I also, during the pandemic, I've been playing a flute since I was a teenager as a way to communicate and connect with nature. But I took some flute classes, and I've integrated reflecting the souls of animals through like a flute song. And I will often do that for people when they have end of life animals. I will record a song for them that is representative of the soul of their animal, and they will receive that they can have, for after their animal passes, to remind them of that energy. So today, let me go back and look at, so I asked for a volunteer, and let me look at the cats. One of the cats has volunteered. I'm going to actually play a song. Elliot, one of your cats is got two colors, has some white in it. Is that true? I'm seeing like a two-tone. If you could just chat a little bit about one of them. I don't know if it's Baldwin or Capote. And if you're okay with my playing a flute song to one of them. And sometimes I see things that aren't like the way they are in person. Okay. Oh, there's the new messages. Sorry, technology. Okay, thanks so much. Okay, black and white Baldwin. Okay, and then to answer the question, Robin's question, I wasn't looking for whether anybody that was. Robin asked if did I pick that any were sick. When I do something broad like this, I would actually need a lot more time to work with the group to really do, like individually connect with each animal much more than I did today to pick up on that. So I didn't. And it doesn't mean that someone isn't, sick. So yeah, but that, I appreciate you asking, because that it is, sometimes it is possible to pick up on that, but I didn't today in the context of what I've done. I would have needed to just have had more time and go a little deeper to pick up on that. So I'm gonna play a song to Baldwin. And I'm gonna try, I need to do it from the side because I need a certain angle to make, and then if you have original sound, it might make it work a little better. So let's see if I can do this. So the music that comes out for animals, sometimes it's melodic like a song, and sometimes it's really kind of dissonant and strange, because they have different ways of like moving, their energy moves differently. So that was for Baldwin. All right, so we're going to wrap it up for today. The more you know about animals and the more you do for them, I feel like the things we do for animals help us. So give back and celebrate every day, because when we are grateful and we have love, our lives get better. And really, I mean, I can't think of anybody that helps me be better than my animals. So give back and celebrate every day. So I thank you all so much for coming. And, I really enjoy the precious life with your animals. And yeah, So we're going to go ahead and wrap up for today.
Thank you so much, Lesia. Wonderful presentation as always.
So great to see you all. Yeah.